Everlane is an online-only retailer. We go to the same factories as luxury clothing brands, and we create our own designs and bring it directly online without any of the retailers or middlemen. So we are a destination for high-end apparel and accessories. So I used to work in private equity, and I really had an itch to start something. And a lot of times that itch is the way a lot of entrepreneurs start. They just don't want to be doing what they're doing, and they say, hey, I want to go build a company from scratch. And I was inspired by many people who had done that before. And for us, it started with a simple problem, which was, why is it so difficult to buy discovery-based goods online? You know, if you know what you want to buy, Amazon.com does a fantastic job of it. And then the realization for us was when we learned how high the markups were in the industry, we said, hey, Amazon's done a great job taking down traditional retailers, but no one's really done a great job sort of disrupting brands. And our opportunity is to come in and build a company and a brand around saying, hey, you don't have to pay for all these markups and for all the logos. So we went out and started this from scratch on our own. I think the most important piece in building a brand is to have a very strong point of view that does not exist in the market today and that people are receptive to. And so a lot of times I think what people actually do, and what I see, is they don't take strong enough point of view. They build a product and it just doesn't really, you don't know why it exists. And if you have to be able to distill things in a very short sentence or two, that people can go and tell to their friends, and they have to feel viscerally emotional about it. And for us, obviously, that line that we launched was designer clothes sell for 8 times what they cost to make, not at Everlane, right? And that was a message that could be spread far and wide by people. And so whatever it is, just find a very easy to explain story that doesn't exist today that you can tell to your friends, and they are attracted by it. So we had the opportunity to sort of work with a lot of people, and when I met Jason, it was just, he had a keen interest in the business and really seemed to understand what we do. And since working with them, it's been an absolute pleasure. We started because they actually are one of the few firms, I would say, that has an understanding of brand building and how that intersects with technology, and it's rare to find that combination. And on that level, we've been, tremendously lucky, and the connections that they provided us have really been some of the best meetings I've had. So I couldn't say more wonderful things about Maveron. It's interesting. The way funding has changed in the past 5 years has been, or really 10 years, it was all about Series A straight out of the gate 10 years ago. And you would go and raise a $2 million round, and then sort of angels popped up, and you could do seed rounds very easily. Now there's super angels that sort of have a fund, and they invest in many different companies. And now what's really interesting is that people can start launch companies on something like Kickstarter, and that requires zero equity. And in a lot of ways, if you can pull it off, Kickstarter is a great way to get funding. The challenge with Kickstarter is it doesn't teach you to build a company, right? It teaches you to sell one product very quickly to a large group. And so I'd be curious to see the long-term success of those. I think starting off with a seed is a really great place, and Maveron does those. And it's great because it allows you to find your bearing without being in too much, without having too much pressure. And so it's something we've really appreciated. And then when the time is right, I think there's no better way to do it than to raise a larger round and have investors help you because they've been there before.